Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining another session with Caribbean Chemicals. Just want to say Happy New Year to you all. We're having a little technical difficulty, but I'm seeing where Sian, who is the presenter, he dropped off, he lost electricity. So I'm seeing Dennis online. So Dennis, I'm going to share my screen and you can go ahead, all right? Dennis, you're there?
Yes, good afternoon all.
Hold on, Dennis, don't start it. Just give me a minute. Okay, Dennis, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon all. I am Dennis Lecky, Product Development Agronomist for the Northeast region. I'm falling in as backup presenter for Sion Spence. And once again, we have to apologize for the technical difficulties. It's all part and parcel of life. Today, we'll be focusing on no new seeds, mainly Empire #2, watermelon, as well as Sureness watermelon, Snow White cauliflower, Polaris sweet pepper, and Red Star sweet pepper. And these are seeds that have been brought in and introduced to the Jamaican market by Caribbean Chemicals Jamaica for a number of years now, and we have done serious work with these cultivars and gotten extremely good results. And I'll just give you now a quick background or introduction to No New Seeds. It's actually a company established in Taiwan from the 1960s, and main focus of No New is to really breed, produce, and market hybrid first generation seeds. So these are seeds that are bred from the original parent material. So, it's not, as some people say, wash out or wash seeds. Now, No New is committed to creating new cultivars and technology. So they continuously innovate and improve on seed quality, and to supply high quality seeds to the customers and farmers. And this company actually markets seeds around the world. So, most or many countries throughout the world, you can find No New seeds having a place and being sold there. Now, in terms of, and what we'll look at now is just some background of the export potential of the various cultivars that we're going to be discussing today. Uh, for example, the export of watermelon and papaya to Canada was US 300,000 during 2020, according to United Nations data. And for Jamaica, the export of cabbage, cauliflower, kale, in the fresh or chilled markets to like the British Virgin Islands, the US, was 982,000 pounds during 2020. So, really and truly, the export potential for a lot of cultivars, is of great importance and should be a focus, for us going forward, in expanding markets and meeting global demands. Now, No New seeds themselves carry specific features or characteristics which really makes them superior to a lot of others that you might find in the marketplace, or even ways more superior to what a lot of farmers do in terms of washing seeds. Now, one major question that comes up quite quickly with seeds and seed production and distribution is, are these genetically modified? You transfer genes. Like, one farmer asked me at one point in time, is pig genes in your corn, or in your sweet pepper, or in your watermelon? Now I tell farmers they are what you might consider to be modified genetically because they choose and breed for specific characteristics that gives you a superior quality, adaptability to the environment in which you are going to produce it. So a lot of farmers, they may see seeds online or go and travel overseas, probably to Europe, to the United States, purchase seeds over there, that they see producing high, quality, high quantities. But when they come to Jamaica with it, it's not performing. Reason being, a lot of those seeds are adapted to the cooler climates. And when they bring it to Jamaica, which is hotter, more humid, they don't perform as well. You also have high yielding varieties. That's one of the things we go for because at the end of the day, once you plant these seeds, you should be getting the returns to make your investment worthwhile. Good disease resistance is also key because unique to our environment, certain diseases that affect us in the Caribbean, in the tropical climates, might not affect other plants in more temperate or colder areas. Once again, it also must be easy to grow. So you, the farmer with little experience or a lot of experience or even a household or backyard gardener must be able to grow these plants with relative ease. And last but not least, they must be affordable. And one thing I can tell you about no new seeds, they are amongst the most cost-effective options available on the market for you, the farmer, to get that quality. Now, Empire number 2 watermelon, and this is, I must say, I'm a bit biased to the Empire number 2. If you notice the image of the pack, it has that light green with the little green stripes in it, kind of like what you'd have, varieties that would have been on the market before and persons would have been used to. Now, this is a long-standing variety and it's tolerant to anthracnose as well as other viruses. Now, the average size that you will get from planting Empire number 2 is just about 28 pounds. But I can tell you farmers that I've gone up to 35 pounds with the Empire number 2. And what is also good is that when it bears, what you actually will see is that each vine can give you 3 different melon. So on every single vine, you have the opportunity to harvest 3 watermelon. The first and second melon will usually be your largest, most impressive size and shape. The third will be smaller, what you might typically call your seconds. Now it's oblong in shape with a light green skin. The flesh is red, almost a deep red. And once you see that deep red, instantly what comes to mind is that it's going to be sweet. So it has a good sugar content or bricks of about 11%, and it stores and ships well. So after harvesting your Empire number 2, you can actually put it down for even 3-4 weeks in your storeroom as long as it's not bruised, it's not damaged, and it won't break down, it won't spoil. And it matures pretty quickly in just about 98 days. So it's a fast maturing watermelon. Now, the pack sizes or the presentations that you can get this watermelon in is 10 gram and 100 gram presentations. And the number of seeds per pack would be 230 or 2,300, depending on if it is the 10 gram or the 100 gram pack that you choose to go with. And the plants per acre is just about 1,000 plants. And your yield per acre, looking at how many pounds of watermelon you should be able to pull out of that field is just about 3,500 pounds. And I can tell you farmers, trust me on this one, if you get that 2 to 3 plants per vine, as I'm suggesting, using the CCJ watermelon crop care guide, 35,000 pounds is easily achievable. Now, the Sureness watermelon, or what some people might call your yellow melon or your pineapple melon, You know, this is a icebox type melon, so it's a smaller type melon with an average size of about 7.7 pounds, but it has great tolerance to disease and it has dark skin with some vague stripes. So you can see some darker green stripes on the melon. Now it's globe shaped with a golden yellow flesh color. It matures early, and this is something that I can tell farmers that for this one, even in as short as 78 to 80 days, you can be harvesting your Sureness watermelon. Now, the bricks is just about 11.5, so it's relatively sweet as well. What I can tell you about the Sureness for sure is that incorporating a product like a sugar express in that last 3 to 4 weeks, you know, after the melon starts to develop and probably reaches just under fist size. Once you come in with that sugar express at that point in time, that bricks content, that sweetness can actually be increased. Now, in terms of your presentations, currently we only have Sureness in the 10-gram presentation. And that would give you about 250 seeds per pack. And once again, similar to your Empire number 2, it's about 1,000 plants per acre. Now your yield per acre is just about 30 to 32,000 pounds. Now, in terms of sweet peppers, our Polaris sweet pepper is one that can be grown both in field or in a greenhouse or a screen house, protective house, as the case may be. And it is resistant to your potato virus. And, you know, I can tell you though, even with that, it's a very hardy sweet pepper that really stands up to a variety of conditions, you know, dry conditions, rainy periods when the soil is saturated. It really does stand up well and performs well even under heavy, you know, pest or disease pressure. Now, the average size of each pepper is just about 6 ounces. You know, but for, for, for sweet pepper farmers, what you tend to look at or want to look at is how many fruits to a pound. Now, typically, 2 fruits will give you a pound, but at its least, 3 fruits will give you well over a pound in weight. Now, it's a bell shape and it's uniformly blocky. So it's a very blocky looking sweet pepper. You know, and it carries good weight based on the shape. The flesh color is green when it is young and yellow when ripe. It's a crisp flesh, well suited for salad. So this is something that you not only can cook it up with your meal, you can also cut it up and serve it fresh, no cooking necessary, and it tastes extremely well in salads. Now, maturity takes typically about 115 days to for you to be harvesting fruit from the Polaris sweet pepper. Now, the presentations or the pack size is 10 grams with approximately 1,300 seeds per pack. And I can guarantee or tell you farmers that once you sow, you should be getting well over 1,000 seeds germinating. For the most part, with our germination tests, we have been getting about 90, well over 95, 98% in terms of germination for the Polaris. So you do get good a good seed or seedling return for your money. Now, typically per acre, you can plant 17,000 plants, and then under ideal conditions, well over 65,000 pounds of peppers per acre using that 17,000 plant model. And you know, when we say under ideal conditions, farmers, once again, use the necessary products from our cropping guides and ensure that your land preparation and your soil management, your water management in your field is done optimally, 65,000 pounds is an achievable target for you, the farmer. Now, our red star sweet pepper. This is also a sweet pepper that is cultivated in open field and screen houses, and it's also resistant or tolerant to major diseases out there. So it does perform extremely well. Now, this is a bright red sweet pepper. Its redness, it will almost surprise you when you see it fully ripe under good conditions. Now, it's a long bell-shaped pepper that weighs about 6 ounces. So once again, about 2 to 3 will give you a pound in weight. The flesh is green when it is young and red, a deep, or I should say a bright red at maturity. Now, it has a thick and crunchy flesh and it ships and stores well. And once again, this is actually a very nice pepper for use fresh in salads or in your cooking activities. It matures a bit faster than the Polaris in 108 days, but we have had cases where this sweet pepper has come into production in even less than 100 days. Now, the pack size is 10 grams and the number of seeds per pack is 1,300 seeds. Once again, plants per acre is 17,000 plants with yields of over 65,000 pounds achievable. Now, what a lot of farmers would have been trying to plant, especially over the Christmas or during the winter period into the early spring period, is cauliflower. And for cauliflower, we have snow white. And as the name would suggest, that cauliflower head that you are getting is snow white. Now, it has a strong tolerance to heat and cold. And I can tell you from my personal experience and from demonstrations and trials done with farmers throughout the island, this cauliflower can be grown right through the year as long as you have water to supply it and you give it the necessary care. You will get nice, healthy, attractive cauliflower. Now, it has a strong tolerance to downy mildew and to black rot, and it's very easy to grow. I would almost say that it's so easy to grow, a 2-year-old could do it. And this is because this cauliflower, it's a very vigorous plant. It puts out very deep, healthy, strong roots, and it grows rather quickly. It's the fruit shape or the cauliflower itself is it has a kind of round shape. It's a rich, attractive white, a dense and compact head, so it's not loose and spread all over. It's very dense and compact. And your typical head size is about 2 pounds. However, we have had instances where farmers get heads up to 4 or 5 pounds. And this is really dependent on your planting distance. It matures in about 75 days from planting. And after that, and within that period, you should be able to be harvesting your cauliflower heads. Now, the pack size or the presentation that we have it in is a 10-gram pack, which provides 3,100 seeds. And in terms of plants per acre, it depends on the planting density. We have had farmers who have gone anywhere from 10,000 up to 20,000 plants per acre. It depends on really what your targets are, the size of the head. The wider plant spacings typically will give you a larger head. The tighter plant spacing will give you a smaller head as the plants compete for nutrients, for sunlight, for water, you name it. Now, the yield per acre, it varies and it can be anywhere from about 20 to 30,000 pounds per acre. And that, once
Excuse
again,
me.
farmers, dependent on your cropping practices.
Could you just repeat what you said about the spacing just now?
Okay, no problem. Okay, so in terms of spacing, farmers depend, are you the household or anyone who it is that is growing it, the spacing that you give the plant will determine the size of the head. So a closer spacing, say you're trying to go 2x1 or 2x2, will tend to give you a smaller head than if you go say 1x3 or 2x3 in terms of your plant spacing. That then would determine the number of plants that you have per acre. So going with about 2x2 plant spacing, you should be fitting just about 11,000 plants per acre. Farmers have gone tighter than that because the markets that they have, the persons want say a half-pound cauliflower head. So because of that, they go on a tighter spacing.
Thank you.
Okay, so important to note though, and this is going into it now in terms of you, the farmer, you purchase the seeds from us. Important things that you should know, because you have to picture the seeds as little babies, and how you treat your baby will determine the seedling you get and ultimately the fruit or the yield that you get. Now, soil type is one key, or the first in key factors that you must look at. The type of soil will determine your drainage, the nutrients that are available in the soil, etc. And once you understand the soil type and how that may affect your plant, then you can treat or modify the soil accordingly. The slope of the land, this goes hand in hand with your soil type, because if it's a steep hillside, different kinds of practices may be necessary there. And we have gone into some of these in other trainings, which you can look back at to get an idea how, to put in your drainage systems and ensure that these drains control your water flow or even retain water in your soil. Your temperature range. A lot of farmers, and I can even tell you farm stores are at fault as well, improperly store your seeds. And then when you set the seeds, the conditions they are set under, you don't get proper growth. So, for example, you store the seeds, you leave them you buy them and leave them in your car in the sun for 3, 4, 5 days. And the sun eventually, like a little baby, if you leave them in the sun, kill the seeds. Or you store them in areas that are too cold, and that also affects the viability. And then what happens is that you call myself or you call Sion or one of the other agronomists and you say, oh, the seeds that you sold us, the germination not good on them. When really and truly, maybe what you or what someone did wrong was that they weren't stored properly. Now, rainfall is also, or the moisture content is also important. Sowing seeds and growing seedlings in waterlogged conditions is a big no-no. Seedlings are especially susceptible to damping off. And a lot of persons out there, a lot of farmers, a lot of households, a lot of nursery operators lose thousands in seeds and seedlings due to damping off issues. This is something that we say to farmers: ensure that you try to monitor and maintain good water balance in your soil once you're growing seeds and seedlings. Now, in terms of watermelon and optimal growing conditions, you want somewhat sandy, well-drained, loamy soils. However, if you're on clay land, definitely ensure that the land prep is done early and the soil is loose. Put in your drains right then and there. It likes 6 to 7 pH, so slightly acidic. And the daytime temperatures, you want an average daytime temperature of between 21 to 26 degrees, just about 27 degrees, and nighttime temperatures between 18 and 21 degrees. So the cooler times of the year will definitely give you some of the better performances in terms of your production. However, for our Empire number 2 and also the Sureness, I have had farmers, especially in my territory, the Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne area, that have grown them right throughout the year and gotten exceptionally good results. Now, flat to gently sloping lands is ideal for the growth of watermelon. You don't really want it on too much of a steep hillside. And the rainfall range, watermelon, and a lot of farmers, they say, but it's watermelon, so it must like water. No, it does not want a lot of water, especially once it has started to flower and fruit. At that point in time, many farmers suffer significant losses because right at that week that you're supposed to be picking, you start to get a lot of rain and you walk out into the field. And it's one of the most interesting things. You stand in the field and you actually hear the watermelon bursting in the field because it's soaking up moisture from the soil. And you just hear, pow, pow. You take up the watermelon, you harvest it, and you put it down. And at that point in time, you just hear it burst right in your hand. Farmers, especially if you know you have those issues, ensure your drainage features are in to limit the losses due to the rainfall effects. Now, for sweet pepper, a pH between 6 and 7, and it will tolerate slightly alkaline soils of up to 7. But definitely you want a more acidic kind of environment for the sweet peppers. The temperature ranges is typically between 21 and 26, 27 degrees, during the daytimes, and during the night times, anywhere between 15 and 21 degrees Celsius is acceptable. It will survive that. However, once it goes below that, you'll tend to see the plants get shocked from the frost, from that cold environment. Now, in terms of the land that you're planting it on, it can be flat to mountainous. So hillside, flat, almost anywhere. Once you have the proper land husbandry features in, you can grow sweet pepper. In terms of temperature range, it can take higher levels of rainfall, up to 2,000 millimeters of rainfall. However, once again, what you need to ensure you control as best as possible your drainage of water within the field. Now, cauliflower, what it definitely needs is well drained and fertile soils, because cauliflowers, they feed very, very heavily. It's something that I tell a lot of farmers that you'll be surprised to see or to know how much nutrients cauliflower uses. And because it matures so fast, and the time between it starting to flower, where you see the cauliflower push up and probably size of a fingertip, and within 5 to 7 days, it is the size where it is weighing a pound, 2 pounds. And that is within 7 days. So a lot of farmers, they even allow what we call, what we said to farmers, that you cause it to blow out or to flower out. And you see it start to get a purplish tinge and or turn purple. It's because you allow it to stay for too long. So it actually over mature or matures too much. Now, head formation and the color tends to be affected by temperatures. And just a little secret or a little tip that for you, the farmer who wants to grow cauliflower, especially during the hot summer months. At that point in time, what you can do is actually, once you see it start to flower and you see that flower come up the size of as I say, a fingertip, use a rubber band or cord and fold the leaves over the cauliflower head and just cover it over there. Once that is done, you won't have issues with it turning yellow or being sunburned. Now, the topography, it wants gentle slope to mountainous areas. So, pretty much almost anywhere it can be grown with no major issues. However, in terms of watering, it really uses a great deal of water to really perform well. So for you, the farmer out there, to maximize your production potential with cauliflower, irrigation is advisable. And so regular weekly watering, at least 2 inches of water per square foot will definitely give you good production with your cauliflower. Now, amongst the farmer testimonials, we have a farmer in St. Thomas, Mr. Henriquez, from Phillipsfield, who planted Empire number 2. And you can see the quality, the size of the watermelon in front of the farmer in this image. And vendor Marston, who also planted who has sold, sorry, the Empire number 2, has found that that's a very good variety. It's very sweet, and it's an exceptionally good melon that keeps your customers coming back for more, because it tends to be under a wide variety of conditions a sweet watermelon. Now, in terms of your Sureness watermelon, Farmer Llewellyn from Mears Trowtall in Clarendon, he has said, I definitely would recommend Sureness watermelon to farmers to grow. And this has brought about repeat customers for this farmer, who has been impressed by its yield, by its sweetness, and the plant's resistance to many common diseases and issues that affects watermelon. Now, for the snow white cauliflower, Farmer Lewis from Rose Hall in St. Elizabeth, has been planting snow white since 2015. And nowadays, because of the popularity, 98% of the farmers in that area have gravitated to snow white cauliflower. And this is one of the best cauliflowers on the market, with no competition. This is from the farmer himself. And he has reaped well over 10,000 pounds of cauliflower from just about half of an acre of cauliflower planted. So that's very good yields, very good returns, especially for something like cauliflower, which consistently sells for over $250 per pound. Now, once again, this is Mr. Lewis measuring the head size of the cauliflower, just about 6 inches. And that cauliflower there now is pretty much almost ready, or just about ready for harvest. Okay, in terms of our Polaris sweet pepper, you have Mr. Noble from Burton District in Lacovia, St. Elizabeth. And he says the Polaris is an excellent variety of sweet pepper, and planting 300 plants, only 300 plants with irrigation, and during drier than usual conditions, he was able to harvest between 7 and 8 pounds per plant. So, if you really multiply out that potential with 1,000 plants, you can get, under suboptimal conditions, you can receive over 8,000 pounds per plant. Now, other no-new seeds available in the trade are the Extreme Watermelon, which is a dark green watermelon with dark green stripes, the Summer Summit cabbage, Bountiful number 2 cucumber, Escallion, which is the bunching onion, and this is a white type scallion. Broccoli chief is the variety there. In terms of eggplant, we have both tubby and fullness. Lettuce, and this is a leaf type lettuce. You have red rapid and Olga. In terms of papaya, we have the red lady, which is a large papaya weighing somewhere about 5 pounds on average, between 3 and 5 pounds on average. And this, once again, planting density, crop care can determine that size. And in terms of sweet corn, and this is a very, very popular variety on the market now, it is Bright Gene. And for Bright Gene, you can get 3 to 5 cobs per plant, but definitely we tell you as a farmer, aim for 2 to 3 cobs per plant with Bright Gene, and you will get exceptional yields. Once again, though, farmers, I want you all to note that in any case, you can always get our crop care guides from your agronomist, whether it's your sales or product development agronomist. We have them available online. Visit our website where you can get further information. And at this point in time, I will welcome any questions from you, the viewers. Okay. In terms of upcoming activities, and it's a large number of activities that will be going on. You know, we're always in the field, always online, on radio, doing work. On January the 10th, Mellow FM, there will be an Irish potato feature at 3:15 p.m. and that will be hosted. Our presenter there will be Janoy Johnson. On Thursday
That's
the
today,
12th of
Dennis.
yes, today at 3:50. Yes, yes. On Thursday, the 12th of January, we'll also have a farmer Irish potato production, the CCJ way, at Allison, Manchester, and that will be at 10 a.m. And the host there will be Dane Parker. Wednesday, January 18th, we'll have a farmer trading on cabbage production, the CCJ work, the way in New Works, Westmoreland at 11 a.m. That will be hosted by Sion Spence. And on Thursday, the 26th of January, we'll have a farm store promotion. So it's a store day at Choose Farm Store in Westmoreland at between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. And at that, you'll have Andre Rance, Sion Spence, and the rest of the team. On Thursday, the 26th, also, we'll have a farmer trading on Gungo Peas production, the CCJ way, at 10 a.m. at Resource Manchester, and that will be hosted by Dane Parker. And Friday, the 27th, we'll have a live Facebook, IG, and YouTube presentation focusing on the BASF products at 3:30 p.m. and that will be hosted by Dane Parker and Janoy Johnson. And last but not least, Tuesday 31st, we'll have a farmer training on pineapple production, the CCJ way in Pigsa, St. Elizabeth at 10 a.m. and that will be hosted by Sion Spence.
Dennis, Daniela has her hand up.
Okay, go ahead.
Just a question about the red lady papaya. You
Yes,
said that they grow to be very big fruits, up to 5 pounds. How well does the market absorb that or those sizes?
okay, so I can tell you that possibly my territory was one of the first adapters to the red lady papaya. And
Mm-hmm.
most of our markets this side has been to especially the fruits vendors. So you see people who are cutting up and packaging the fruits.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our papaya, the red lady, is sold that way, as well as for people who are doing juices and the householders who want to cut and package. What
Mm-hmm.
you will find, and this is something that once you introduce it to the market, and my first adapters, they actually planted a single pack with say 400 plants. They
Right.
started to introduce it to the higglers, to the householders who they usually supply. And at this very moment, those papaya, the red lady, as well as the Tino, which we usually have,
Mm-hmm.
are actually the more popular varieties on the market, being sold into Kingston, into Ocho Rios, and as far as even into Montego Bay.
Okay. And it's sweet?
It is very sweet.
Oh.
The red lady, without even bias, I can tell you, for the most part, a lot of the solar type that you might find on the market, because a lot of it is wash seeds, they
Mm-hmm.
tend not to be as sweet as a F1 red lady.
Ah, okay. And then how much would you need for an acre? And do you have it in stock now?
Okay, so we have papaya seed in stock.
Okay.
An important thing to note with the red lady is that the plant itself, the papaya tree, as you'd call it, is a
Mhm.
larger plant than the solo types. So
Oh.
yeah, so if you try to go a close planting distance like a 5 by 5 or a 6 by 6, you might run into problems there.
Okay.
I tend to advise farmers with the red lady to go for about a 8, a 8 by 6 or 8 by 8, anywhere in that region. So to ensure that
Mm-hmm.
you have good ventilation passing through so you don't run into issues with anthracnose or other fungal issues, because the plant does get very big and it is a high yielding plant as well. So even though the fruits are larger, you're going to get a lot of fruits each week from each plant. And you can actually start to, interestingly enough, the first set of picking that you will typically do with a red lady plant, you will have to bend down and pick the fruit. It's not standing and picking because it starts to bear from its very short.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So it says 8 by 6 is the ideal planting spacing.
Yeah, a 6 by 8 or a 6 by 7, anywhere in there, should give you adequate spacing for the red lady.
Mm-hmm. So
You know,
I with I just trying to visualize everything. Um, so you would say the standard bed spacing is 5 feet. So if I go
between 4 to 5, depending on the implement you use.
depending on the implement. So
Yes.
if I skip a bed, that would be sufficient.
Yeah, if you skip a bed, if you skip the 4 foot bed,
Mhm.
every other bed, and in that
That's
row you go about 6 feet, then
yes.
you should be in good condition there.
All
The,
right. All
the most difficult thing that a lot of farmers who plant, say a red lady, who would have been used to the solo papaya, is that the
right.
plant similar to the solo, and then once the canopy up, it starts to lock up, and then you have it being very dark, very cool under there, and you run into issues with anthracnose.
Anthracnose. I got you. Mhm. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, up on screen now, you actually have our agronomists who are available to provide you with technical support. The contact numbers and the territories which we cover are there, and feel free to call any of us. We welcome your advice, your questions, to provide you with the best possible advice. And always note that if one agronomist is unavailable, try and get in contact with someone else. you know um our landline is always open, 757 0022 to 4. Call us on the cell phones, reach out to us on our various social media platforms. Share what your experience, invite us out to your fields. We would be happy to come and assist you. I just want to say thank you once again for participating in this, what would have been our first live presentation for the year. I want to say thank you again, and I wish for you all a prosperous 2023. Let's grow.